Welcome everybody to the top 10 best obsession anime. That's a really weird topic, and I'm sure you're like, what does that even mean? Well, first off, I'm glad it caught your attention. Second off, if you're new here, well, let me introduce myself. My name is Misty/Connectia, and lately I've noticed some anime which whole gimmick turned from something casual into a very destructive obsession. Trying something, then failing, and trying it over and over, expecting different results. Well, that'd be the definition of insanity. Now shut up, I didn't steal that quote from Far Cry 3. It's a citation. I'm sure the list will start to make sense as we go through it.
熊が断絶の壁を越えた。クレアちゃん。大丈夫。スミカは。
Number 10, Yuri Kuma Arashi. First off, don't let this anime fool you. It's not a kid show in the slightest. It's not even an anime I would recommend to teenagers. That's how raunchy and hardcore it gets. The story is about two lesbians who have a close relationship, see threatened by flesh-hungry bears. Goddamn, I hate talking about this anime because there's no right way to describe what it's all about in such few lines. The story is very mature with the homosexual girl-on-girl topic being tackled head-on. There's a lot of metaphor about flower eating and nectar. And you know what? Look, if you're interested, check it out. It's not a bad anime by any means, but it's definitely something crude. There's profanity and violence galore. Just keep it in mind as you go through the episodes.
そう。だから今度こそ大切な人は。
したらよ。急にこいつが怒り出してよ。
怒ってねっつーの。なあ、小島。
さあね。へえ。
Number 9, Aku no Hana. Aku no Hana is not, I repeat, not a show everyone will enjoy. The art alone make a definite skill check as soon as you'll try to get into it. If the style bothers you, don't force yourself in it, but I will say it absolutely makes the anime feel a bit more eerie by how it all comes out together. The show is about Kasuga, a student who obsesses on a lot of things, reading books, and a girl who he is madly in love with. He usually admires her from afar, but one day he steals her gym uniform, and that brings in rumor about a pervert going around. It could have ended there, but the problem is some girl saw Kasuga take it, and there's a weird power play going on, to not say blackmail. Very mature topic, handled delicately about the subject of obsession. I recommend it for people who like their anime artsy.
これ漢字間違ってる。
旧字体なの返せよバカ。お前なんかには価値のわかんねえ本だよ。
いつもニコニコあなたの隣にダイヤル簡単ニャルラトホテプです。
Number 8, Hayore Nyaruko-san. How about we lighten this up with a bit of comedy? Hayore Nyaruko-san is a parody type of anime about a high school student who gets attacked by a monster. A girl rescues him, and she then falls madly in love with him. Later on, there's another girl who joins the party, and she then herself starts obsessing about the other characters. It's definitely a lighter take on the topic for those who want to see some degenerate and eccentric characters go at it without taking the whole thing too seriously. Also, the comedy is real good, and it makes the 25 episodes go by real fast. Just don't expect anything serious out of this one.
でもどうしてもお礼がしたいということであれば、やっぱりそう。あなたが大好きです。調子に。
Number 7, Watamote. There is a case to be made about Watamote. This one's obsession isn't related to a goal or a person, but rather a status, a social status, and I gotta say, you need nerves of steel to get through this one. Either that or your sympathy has been shot through the head. The anime itself is straight up built with an overall mean-spirited approach where the main character is an inept who focused so hard into getting one step forward she always ends up 8 steps backwards. I guarantee you this anime will bring tons of cringe to the point where you will physically flinch. That being said, there is also a pretty hilarious jokes where she wins a vibrator and get an erotic game and then use both of those at once, but not for the reason you think, and end up getting caught. That alone was worth checking out the anime.
当たった。これって人が見たら絶対。
おい、
何？
ちょっと待て、お前何やってんだ。
だって着てたらできないでしょ。
何が。
Number 6. Denpa Teki na Kanajo. Denpa Teki is an anime I've seen a while back, and that got me kinda obsessed about it. But don't worry, that's not the only obsession attraction to the story. It's your overall yandere stalker story that is delusional about a relationship with the main character. The anime is divided in 2 episodes, who are for the most part 2 separate events. In the first one, you have the main character who tagged along with his stalker to try and solve the case of a serial murderer at large. Episode 2 is more inclined towards solving a weird cult organization. My description doesn't quite give it justice, but it left a really heavy mark on my life, and I'm always happy when I get to mention it around.
今すぐそのデクどもを連れて消えな。
だからって入学式の日から私服で行く人がどこにいますか。
でも
常識で考えてわからないのならお父様にお聞きしてごらんなさい。
Number 5. Onisamae. Are you into older anime? If that's the case, then you'll really want to check out Onisamae. The show came out during the early 90s, and to me, it had a vibe of Dead Poet Society. It's probably just me. Anyway, the story is about a girl who entered a prestigious all-girls academy. And at school, there's an elite sorority that everyone obsesses about, and Nanako, the main girl character, is chosen to be part of it. Of course, that brings her the immense jealousy of her peers, and she has to deal with bullying. This anime is probably the purest definition of drama you could find, and once again, there is a great deal of mention about lesbian love, this time with a more tactful approach considering it is a very taboo topic at that time. Check it out if you like obscure gems.
となる資格を得られることになっております。
音楽室よ。行ってらっしゃいよ。一応は知っておくべきだから、あなたも。さ。
おっと。本日は私たち新入生のためにこのような盛大な式を挙げていただき誠にありがとうございます。
Number 4. Charlotte. Charlotte is an anime that came out in the mid-2015, and unless you've seen the anime, you probably won't have any clue why you think I consider it a prime candidate for an obsession anime, especially since to get that part in, I would need to reveal a major spoiler for it, so instead you'll just have to take my word, and I'll let you know about the general purpose of the show. If it appeals to you after that, you can take it up on yourself to check it. Charlotte's story is about you, a student and overly smart guy who has a special ability that let him slip into people's body. After being coerced into joining an X-Men-like academy, an event happens that unravels Yu's obsession into handling it properly. Check it out is all I can say, it's quite interesting.
すでに神経を持つ方には承諾をもらっています。
そう、彼女の能力は一人の対象者から視認されない。それ以外の人間には普通に視認。
来ねえよ。あいつ携帯いじってばっかで何やってんの。ゲーム。
いや日記つけてるんだってさ。
Number 3. Mirai Nikki and Madoka Magica. I wanted to pair both Future Diary and Madoka Magica together because, despite being 2 very different shows, they share a lot of common details. First off, they're both really famous entries, and I didn't want to waste an extra spot while still wanting to abort both. The 2 anime have a girl obsessively focus on the main character and pretty much want him/her to acknowledge her. In both cases, there's time travel involved, to a certain extent. Future Diary's story is about Yuki and Yuno, who have to go through a survival deathmatch versus a bunch of other people a la Hunger Games. And Madoka Magica is a deceptively cute show. You go in expecting nothing rough until it flips your head upside down. Pun intended. Try them out, you'll see the obsessive part in both easily.
あなたなの？はい。これが契約書。
Number 2. Welcome to the NHK. Welcome to the NHK is a pretty good example of what happens when an obsession just gets out of control. This anime is about Sato, who's a hikikomori, If you're unfamiliar with the term, that's a Japanese status for people who are basically shut in. They're seen as kind of the scum of society since they don't bring anything useful to it. The anime focuses a lot on Sato's fear and the conspiracy he constantly obsesses about. The anime is one I would classify more within the psychological realm. If you're not interested in that aspect, I recommend skipping this one because it's pretty heavy on the dialogue, and action-wise it has very little going on. That doesn't make it a bad show, but you need to know what you're getting yourself in if you don't want to be disappointed.
ひどいよね。
助けてきましょうか。
できるの？
相手は中等部です。
中鉢博士は我々研究者の抜け駆けをし、この世紀の発明の発表会へとこぎつけた。たっぷりとその考えを聞かせ。
And finally, number 1, Steins Gate. Steins Gate is generally agreed to be one of the finest and most breathtaking anime ever made in the industry. But just like Charlotte, where time travel is involved, the main character starts going back in the past trying to rescue someone, and no matter which decision he takes, nothing eventually comes up right. Added to that, Okube's main character is already a persona that started off with a rather obsessive behavior. If you've never seen the anime, it takes a bunch of episodes to wind up and start making sense. It's definitely not for everyone, and it has a really artistic approach regarding a lot of aspects, but I'm guilty of not recommending as much as it deserves, mostly because it's already super famous, but hey, now's your time to finally catch up if you've been missing out.
あれは別。あの子たちは僕の嫁だから。
誰の嫁の話はどうでもいい。
でもさ、興味深いテーマじゃん。もし仮。
There you go, I hope this video managed to find you a bunch of interesting anime to check out. I figure these are pretty much psychological anime to a certain extent, so they might not appeal to everyone equally, but they're still quite entertaining on their own as well, without all the fluffy pretentiousness around it. If you'd like to check out more anime, why not swing by the top 10 best school anime I did last week, or even the playlist. I'll leave both in the end card to spare you the search time. Can you also spare a like, good sir? That's my begging voice. No? Alright, fine. I'll still see you guys next week because you're subscribed, right? Right? Yeah, I know you are. I'll see you then. Love ya!
I've been through the hard times, I've been on the wrong side, I've been ashamed. So many memories, you know I'd like to change.